When looking at a photo, it's customary for your vision to fall on the main subject or a specific area of the photo that looks clear. Without special settings, the eye may wander around the photo, trying to identify a place to focus. But there are many factors involved in how to guide the eye to go there. The position that attracts the attention and focus. Here, Blue Lake Shot will just call it the visual anchor. In this video, Blue Lake Shot will break down the vectors that affect the visual anchor into 3 major points: hardware facilities, photography techniques, and scene construction, so that you can enhance the control of the picture more effectively. Let's take a look. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on your little bell to get more information on the latest mobile photography for free. There are many reasons that affect the clarity of the picture. Before you take a photo, it's basically necessary to understand the operation of your mobile phone. The aperture, lens, and focal length are all factors that may affect the clarity of the photo. That is, whether it's focused or not, as all the shooting demonstrations we did are all taken at home with a cell phone, and under the hardware limitation of the current smartphone, it's impossible to change the lens freely like a DSLR camera, and of course, the focal length and the performance of the aperture are also quite restricted. However, even if the phone is inherently limited in hardware, it doesn't mean that there is no way to make up for it. There are 2 most common ways to enhance. First, you can adjust the framing by zooming, or changing the distance between the phone and the subject. Although both methods can achieve the zoom effect, the practical operation may still be a little different. For example, we put a glass at the front of the table, and the phone is at the end of the table. The distance between the phone and the cup is about the length of a table. In order to clearly capture the cup, we zoomed in to the cup for framing. Then we use the second way to shoot. Change the actual shooting distance and move the phone closer to the cup. Let's compare the actual difference between the 2 framing methods. As you can see from the photos, when using screen zooming, the quality of the photo becomes worse and the photo feels blurry. On the contrary, when actually changing the distance to frame the photo quality is still clear. Second, we mentioned the 3 elements of exposure in the previous tutorial video, and if you forget them, you can go back and review it again. When using manual mode shooting, due to the limitation of the phone aperture, we will adjust the shutter speed to increase the amount of light in some specific scenes. But be careful when the shutter speed is slower, without phone stand to stabilize the scene. For example, here we will take the phone off the stand, handheld shooting only, to take a photo as a comparison. After avoiding the above problems, we can proceed to the next point. The word photography is composed of light and drawing in Greek, which means that photography is the art of drawing with light. So the importance of light is pretty clear. The reason why human eyes can see things is because of the light. And the same is true for cell phones. When the shooting environment is too dark, it will cause the phone's focus position to be inaccurate or incorrectly focused. But like the hardware limitation mentioned earlier, in order to increase the brightness, in addition to changing the shutter speed, you may also increase the ISO value. With the same scene, although the brightness of the picture is improved by the increased ISO, please pay special attention to the ISO value, which should never be too high. If the ISO value becomes extremely high, there will undoubtedly be too much noise, so that the otherwise clear picture will become unclear, and the phone will be able to focus only on the approximate position or only on the same focal plane, which makes it impossible to focus precisely. Furthermore, when shooting, in addition to sufficient light, it's more important to have the light difference, which involves the ability to control light. Light control means mastering the appropriate difference between light and dark. For example, if there is a light gray color block here, and it's the only color block on the painting, it will look a little flat, unclear, or even foggy. But if there is a darker color below the block, you can find that the original gray block becomes more obvious and even more popped out. The same is true for photography. Don't be afraid that the shadows in the picture will make it darker and dirty. The point is that when it comes to shadow, we don't mean that there shouldn't be any shadows, but there shouldn't be too many shadows to cause clutter in the picture. It's the shadow that highlights the three-dimensional effect of the object. In this way, the phone can more accurately capture the position that should be focused. If there's no shadow, the picture will not be as clear. After understanding the first 2 points, finally is to guide the line of sight to the focus point, that is, to arrange the anchorage. In addition to the use of light, you can also use to arrange the anchorage. In addition to the 2 points mentioned earlier, you can also use the scene construction to guide to the anchor area. Take marshmallow, whose color is relatively bland, and there is no texture. As an example, it takes some time to think when shooting. When you choose a white background and put the marshmallow on it, if the light difference is not obvious, then the whole shot is like this. The marshmallow seems to be about to be hidden in the background. At this point, you can make the whole scene look richer and convey more specific content by adding full structure, picture layers, colors, etc. Whether it's changing to a background with other textures, changing the characteristic of the lighting using stacked padding, changing the shape and arrangement of the marshmallows, or even creating more colors. These are all ways to better navigate to the anchor area. In the future, when you take photos, you can use these 3 points to easily help your photo gain an anchorage look.
Phone photography at home. Have you learned it? If you have any questions about taking pictures or arranging props, please leave us a message and we will make it into a tutorial video to reply. It's not hard to take pictures, just try it.